Hello and welcome to another video. Today we're going to be looking at two races from Daily Race C at Dragon Trail Seaside. Don't go the greatest. I think we're all fed up with the penalty system and SR system now because it just doesn't work. And I think there's a couple of examples of that in the video you'll see. So we'll get straight in. We'll show my qualifying lap first. So I did this in the Audi TT. So the first corner I try and brake sort of halfway between where the green starts and the curb starts, or the red, sorry. It's normally green's red on this track, sorry about that. And then obviously you can go flat through that little left and flat through this right. And then again, same thing, try and brake halfway sort of between where the grass starts and where the gravel starts. And then little dab of brake, and then sort of coast into the first of this S's, and then try and keep the power all the way through if you can get the right angle. And then in the TT I try and, just after where the curb starts, there's a bit of light, so I brake between sort of where the curb is and where the bit of light comes across the track in the TT. But I think most cars you're sort of braking where the curb is. And then try and keep it close to the outside and flat if you can. But you see I just had a slight lift on the entry there. And then I was really struggling with this final corner. I just don't know where to brake. I'm braking, to be honest, with the cones on. Some laps I was braking before where the cones are, but probably braking 5 to 10 metres before the 100 metre board I was. But I know a lot of the top guys are braking at the 100 metre board, but personally I don't quite know how they manage that. But we'll get into this first race. Going to be using the Viper. We did set a 144.355 there, so starting on pole in this one. And it takes a while to start. I was worried I'd be disconnected because before this race, well, the day before, tried to do two races. One I got disconnected before the race started, but lost 20 SR points for that, even though I didn't start the race. I didn't even get to this point. I got booted in the lobby, yet still lost 20 SR points. And I did another race where I got taken out on lap 1, ended up at the back, was in the Viper and was really slow, don't know why. I said I'd never use the Viper again, but here we are. But I have looked at one of the top 10 times in the Viper since to see, and you have to really rev it out, so I think that's why I was so slow. But I lost about 10 SR for that as well, so we're currently in ASR at the moment, and I just couldn't get it back up because things kept going wrong, unfortunately. But starting on pole, this one we're starting on mediums. We're going to see what the one stop is like. So we're going to be trying to pull away in these first few laps if we can. But I was struggling with tyres personally because I don't generally do race C's that often, so I'm not the greatest with tyre wear. It's something I want to do more of, the race C's, but the track and car combos don't always suit me particularly well, but I'm trying to get better at them. So I think, as you can see, I think the quali pace was quite good, but I definitely didn't have the same sort of race pace. I don't think the race pace was too bad, but it definitely wasn't as good as my quali pace was. But you see, we have managed to pull a little bit of a gap, but the car behind does brake quite late. I think he gives me a slight touch there, but nothing much. And you just see here, for some reason I wasn't far enough, tried to drift closer to the wall and ended up hitting it. So very poor run through the chicane of death for the first time, but something must have happened behind because they've had a really poor run through as well. And as I said, this final corner where it's just, I feel like I'm braking so early, yet I'm really struggling. So now come to the end of lap 1, we're just going to speed things up. because we're trying to obviously pull away from the cars behind, but this kept happening. We're getting up to sort of 1.5 seconds, maybe a bit more, and then dropping back down to sort of half a second and then pulling away, and we just couldn't really pull away. But I think that shows with my race pace there, because I think the cars behind were all on hard tyres, so we weren't taking advantage of these mediums as well as we could. We kept pulling away and then making a silly mistake and letting the gap close back up, and then we'd start to pull away again and do the same. So we didn't take advantage of this medium stint. And to be honest, personally, because I'm not used to it, I really felt the tyre wear quite badly after lap 3. So I struggled fairly quickly with tyres, but I think that's because I'm not really too used to using warm tyres, because as I said, I've done a few daily races but not many. I normally stick with race B personally. As you can always see, I'm always struggling with that final corner. You see already I moved the brake balance from +2 to +4 there. And I don't know whether it's maybe more a mental thing, struggling with the tyres, you know, just thinking they're going off, so then they are. But you see, because we're now struggling, you see we're getting understeer here, and we're much slower. We're allowing the Italian to come back to us, because now lap 5 is hard to probably be at their optimum now at lap 5, and we're starting to go off with our mediums. So I was going to let him past us there, but he braked early, didn't go for it. Gave him the inside in case he wanted it, because really I just wanted to get to the pits now and change tyres and see if we could chase these guys down. So I didn't want to lose any time if I could help it. But you see there, just have to slow right down because we really understeer there and we got a tap from behind. But I think that was because he wasn't expecting us to be so slow, but I just had so much understeer. So again, we're going to let him go down the inside because he's probably going to outbrake us. Must have got a 1 second penalty for touching us, I think. A bit unfortunate, really. But we're going to come in the pits here. We're going to switch onto the hards. As I said, I think you can go a lot longer on the mediums, but I think it's just me personally not being used to it. I'm struggling to get the feel of how the tyres are and stuff, and see they're hoping, but unfortunately we end up behind these two Spaniards, which isn't good because we might get held up here. So we need to pass these two nice and quick if we can and try and chase those front three down if we possibly can. To brake a little early, bit slow through here with the two of them there. Going to see if we can get a run or anything. But these are probably either on mediums like I was, or they're on 5 lap old hards, so we've got the fresh tyres on them, so we'll definitely be faster than them. And as you see, we are gaining on them through the S's, so we definitely have more grip than they do, but unfortunately they're going to fight, so we can't really get involved, so we have to brake early, see if we can get any sort of switch back. But the South Africans right on us now as well, but we do. We get the switch back on one of them, so there's one of them gone. So hopefully the Spaniard in front realises that we're clearly quicker than him and he's not going to make the pass too hard, because if he does, he's going to lose himself time and lose me time. But we're not quite close enough to get the slipstream for the run down to the final corner. So we're going to want to get nice and close to him. And you see again, just struggling with the braking into that final corner. But we've got a good run on him, so hopefully we can pass him down into the first chicane. See here, he's gone defensive, which really annoyed me here, because I thought he should know I've got so much more grip than him and he's just going to lose us both time. We're in different races here, so he's going to lose us both time doing this, and I give him a slight touch there because I've got more grip than him. So Unfortunately, I get an SR down for that as well. But now all he's doing is losing himself time and me time. And as you see, that's allowed the South African to close right back up again. And you'll just see, you can tell his tyres are old, because you just see, especially in the TT, understeers a lot anyway. You just see the amount of understeer compared to me he gets going through the S's. So again, we're going to get the run on him again, but we end up having to lift a little bit here because we end up too close and got nowhere to go. But again, he's going to defend it down into the hairpin again, which again really annoyed me. He's given the South African the inside on me, unfortunately. So I have to brake really, really late just to try and get in front of him and get a better exit, but just too late, unfortunately, that I don't. And then he just gives me a touch there and just pushes me off into the wall, which was a little bit annoying because he's allowed the South African to pass me, but he's just losing me and the South African time, and he's losing himself time in his race. And look there, the South African gets lucky and gets a nice quick jump on him where I've been stuck behind him. So a little bit annoying. So then here I do go for quite an aggressive move because he leaves the gap. And I do make a tiny bit of contact, unfortunately, nothing too much, but it was just really annoying me because it just wasn't clever racing. I mean, maybe if he is on a no stop, then yeah, it is a fight for position, but he's not going to defend for 5 laps when me and the South African are on fresh tyres. He's just losing himself time, but we get the run on the South African and manage to get back across him for the inside of the corner to stop him out braking us. But he has been overtaken there by the Finnish driver. Now we want to see if we can chase those guys down, but unlikely. And as you see there, just absolutely dived from miles back by the Finnish driver, and he gets a penalty, which I think he probably deserved. But let's have a look at it again. I think watching this, I possibly brake a little bit early this time, but still it's so late, that move. And we'll just watch from his point of view. And as I said, I think I possibly do brake a little early, but he brakes really late. And to be fair, he did apologise to me in the lobby afterwards and said it was a mistake, he outbraked himself and tried to avoid me, which, to be honest, I'd say is probably true. We've all done it, I've done it before, but it's just a little bit annoying. And I wouldn't say he should give the position back, because I don't always give it back, because I'm a little bit, I think, yes, maybe if it's like that, you should possibly give the position back. I think if you end up punting someone off, get your penalty and they go flying off, to be honest, I think you cause more hassle by waiting. And you know, to me, you should just apologise in the chat afterwards and go and serve your penalty. And maybe if they do catch you up late, and let them have an easy overtake on you or something. But in his situation there, possibly should he let me past, I don't know. I won't say he should, because of 50-50 in my opinion, really. But we'll fast forward through, because unfortunately we don't catch him. But the fact he braked so late, I'm guessing he's pitted from hards and gone on to mediums, because you can just see the grip through the corners. He's got so much more grip than me. So now we just want to get to the end of the race and we'll take a 5th. Because the South African has dropped off behind us, so I don't know if he made a big mistake or something. But you see, he's definitely got more grip than me, the guy in front. You can see I'm definitely understeering more, especially through the S's and stuff. And he's definitely getting the better exits out of corners, so I'm guessing he's on mediums, otherwise he's really fast, and I don't know why he hasn't qualified in 1st ahead of me. So we'll cross the line in 5th, and I did think, 5th will take that, because I wanted to get my SR back up, but I gained 0 SR in that race. I didn't lose any, but I didn't gain any. But I don't see what I've done wrong. I think I grazed the wall twice. I had the one little contact with the back of the Spaniard, and then I had 2 contacts on me where the people got penalties, and 1 contact from the Spaniard where he just pushed me wide, which he did apologise for in the chat actually as well, so fair play to him for that. But now we're going to move on to the second. We're going to use the Jaguar F-Type, and we got the Cadbury's livery on it. He's starting pole again, but I thought, well, after that race, stuck in the traffic with those two Spaniards, I thought I'm gonna start on hards and go for the no stop, see if I can do the no stop. So hopefully this one will go better, but let's see. So I did a good start. Don't know if the Swiss guy wasn't paying attention, a bit slow, but I was maybe a bit extra cautious coming into this first corner here, cold tyres and stuff, as I said, because I'm not 100% used to the racing with the tyre wear, so especially being on the hards, I didn't want to massively overshoot that corner. But we'll want to figure out, see if we can see what sort of strategies the guys behind are on, because we could have a few drivers on mediums that will obviously be quicker than us at the start of this race. But I think I found in the race, for me personally, I found this Jaguar much better to drive in the race than I found the Viper personally. But obviously definitely in qualifying I'd use the TT, because again personally I found that the fastest car, but I think last I checked it was the TT in first and the Viper was in second on the top 10 leaderboard, so it's down to preference I think. But for me, I was definitely a lot quicker in the TT. So considering we started on hards, managed to have a good first lap, keep everyone behind us and not be challenged too much, so we're not really lost any time, which is obviously what we want. We don't want to lose time. So I was already thinking at the start of this, if people start catching and they look like they've got much more grip than me, I know they're going to have to pit if that's the case, and they're going to lose 10 seconds in the pits. So I was always willing, if I could, to just not let them pass, but you know, give them the inside at the corner where it's easy and lose the least time possible, because this is where their tyres are best and we want to try and stick with them, but we don't want to be wearing our tyres out, but we want to be sticking with them as best we can and staying within that 10 seconds, and as their mediums start to go off, start to catch them and then hopefully hold them off when they put the hards on. So you can see the Spaniard is starting to close up to us now, and you can see here the grip different. Look at the speed he's got. He does give us a little tap there. You can just see the grip he's got through the S's compared to me on hards. So I show him the inside, but then the car behind him, he brakes early and the car behind sort of gets involved, and then he does get the inside, and then you can just see from how he gets the power down, he's got so much more grip than me. So I'm going to back out, but don't want to lose too much time if I can help it. And then again, I feel like the Swiss guy behind must be on mediums as well. So again, I don't want to fight him too much. I want to lose as little time as possible and stick with these two guys. So he goes for it up the inside there, so he clearly has more grip, but he compromises his line and doesn't get a particularly good exit, so he filters back in behind me. And as you see here, as he starts to go, you see I start pulling to the right because I want him to go left, but he doesn't. And why he does this, I do not know. This really wound me up. He goes on the outside, so now he's just holding us both up. And I think he gives me a little tap there as well then. But this is just losing both of us time. And you can see how much the Spaniard's pulled away just in that one corner. And then now he's going to go for the move into this corner probably, and I'm trying to give him space, but it's the worst place to go for one. So now he's slowing us both down again, doesn't get the exit because he gets attacked from behind. And now I'm in front of him again, so he's losing himself time through these S's now because I'm slower through the S's because I don't have the same grip he does. But he's also lost me time on the first chicane and through that right-hander, so was really winding me up this, because I just wanted him, I was trying to give him the space to go past me, and instead he went the wrong side and just held us both up, and it's just, again, just not very clever racing. So then now I outbrake myself because I'm trying to give him space, thinking he's going to go on the inside, and it's the Italian on the inside. He's in there, and it turned out the Italian was actually on hards. So now I've lost the position to another guy on hards because the Swiss guy was holding me up when I was trying to let him pass, and he just wasn't racing clever. And then you see the Italian hits the wall, the Swiss guy ends up hitting him. It's a 2-second penalty, so I get the run. So now we're battling him again when we don't want to be. So it's just causing us a few problems here, just by people not using the brain when they're driving, not using the common sense. And I've not tried to defend the corners, I've tried to open them up for him, to let him go for it. So now we're in an awkward position. At the time I presume the Italian was on mediums, but it turned out he was on hards. But again, I'm trying to not go around the outside, I'm trying to give him space, and you see it just get absolutely taken off. And look at that, 2 seconds for forcing another vehicle off the track. Well, forcing another car technically off the track, it says. But, you know, how did I force anyone off the track there? Makes absolutely zero sense, that penalty. But as you see, someone ahead did get a penalty, and then something's gone on here. So we'll serve our penalty now, and we'll go back and look at those replays, see what happened. You see here, from my point of view, really, he's over-defending, but I'm trying to give him plenty of space. I don't actually want to overtake him, I'm trying to cut back right behind him, but that German comes out of nowhere and totally takes us both out. You see now from the Italian's point of view, and you can see from his point of view, look how much space I give him here because I want to turn him behind him, and he just gets smashed by the German and the Dutch guy, and basically ruins both our races a little bit there. And if you look how late he brakes here, and then yes, he gets hit from behind by the Dutch guy, but in my opinion he's never making that corner. It's too wide ahead, he's too wide with someone else, he's never going to get through. And then he does all this brake checking, gets himself up to 6 seconds of penalties. And now to me, these are the type of drivers that just need to be out of this game, because it's just out of order. Just abysmal driving, and he's just ruining the race for everyone else. So, as I said, and then again, this Dutch guy's not much better, because again, look, he brakes and then comes off the brake and accelerates and makes it 4 wide in a gap that the German's going into that isn't there. Then he's trying to also go into the same gap that's not there, and then all this messing about with the German. As I said, to me the German's actually more out of order than the Dutch guy here, but the Dutch guy's again just stupid, not using his brain when racing, and the German does do what he was trying to do and does actually get him a 4-second penalty here, which to be honest I think he deserves for that incident. So we've served our penalty now, and we're going to fast forward through. But this was the problem with starting on hards from the front. I was getting swamped by the medium runners, and then they took me out. So I'm now over that 10 seconds behind the guy in first, who obviously I was trying to stick with because I knew he had to pit, and now he's now got that pit window on me, all because I've been taken out and been given a penalty. But we'll get back to it here. You see that GMP Motorsports has gone wide again. Dutch guy's going to serve his penalty. But again, so we're now stuck with this guy who wasn't racing clever, and if I was right and he's on mediums, he's going to be feeling tyre wear now, which I think you can tell. Look how wide, how much understeer he's got in both them corners. So we've got the run on him here, but again, this is bad for us. We're on the wrong side. He's got better brakes than us. So to me, being at the front of this race is audible. You want to start on hards, but to be honest, you don't want to be at the front, because if you start at hards on the front, you're just going to get chased down. But if you start on mediums, you're probably unlikely, unless an incident goes on behind you, you're unlikely to get enough of a gap ahead to get the pit stop window. And then you see there, I make a little mistake through there because I'm understeering, and I get the 2-second penalty for him hitting the back of me. So again, another 2-second penalty when I've done absolutely nothing wrong. As I said, I made a mistake and hit the wall, so you could say partially for me making that mistake and clipping the wall, but why do I get a 2-second penalty when he hit me? And I actually think he hits me quite late. There was enough time, but he struggled to react, which, you know, not his fault. It happens. I've had people do it to me there, but he knows or he should know I'm on hard tyres. He should have worked that out. And then look, here's our German friend again. Same thing again, absolutely same. Probably because it's that Dutch guy, he's trying to take him out. But again, hindering my race, just not having a care about anyone. As you see here, we're on the outside, trying to filter back in behind, and the German comes out of nowhere. And I lose 2, well, I'd already had 1, so I don't lose those positions, I do manage to keep them, but he's just losing me time. You see, look how far back he is here, the German. In my opinion, this is 100% deliberate, and it's just not needed, because he hits him and still doesn't get stopped for the corner. And then he doesn't even get a penalty for that. And this is where you struggle to get your SR up, because you're doing absolutely nothing wrong, trying to drive as clean as you can, and you get people who just don't care and come and dive bomb and take you out, or not even that, some that just don't use the brain when driving. Just lack of common sense, in my opinion. So we're going to fast forward through again now, because that penalties meant they've pulled away from us. But I was guessing these were on mediums, but then I was starting to wonder, well, they're doing well in the TT to keep the mediums lasting this long. And as you see, Spaniard in first pits and comes out well ahead of me. But as I said, because of them incidents I've ended up involved in, so I used mediums to start with, and I end up coming out in traffic, so I can't catch back up. But I use hards first, and the medium runners catch me, hit me, take me out, so I lose loads of time because of the medium runners not being clever. And then the medium guys that manage to get away, the Spaniard at the front that managed to pull away because of the other medium runners not driving particularly clever, you know, he manages to get out way ahead of me, and we're down here in 5th. Stuck behind these two, but you see we have managed to catch them up now on lap 8. But I was really angry by this point in this race, so I was making silly mistakes, but I was also trying to take extra care not to lose control and hit one of them, because I wasn't angry with them per se, I was just angry with the race in general, because it just seemed no matter what I did, someone either wasn't being very clever or I was getting hit into. So you can see that they're definitely on mediums now, because just look at the lack of grip they've got, whereas our hards should be doing well, because to be honest, once you've got a bit of wear on the hards, they're slightly better than they are straight off new for a couple of laps. So we're probably just still in that window with the hards being at their better point maybe. But the mediums are definitely going off here, but we get a poor run through and he gets back up the inside of us because we're still struggling with understeer. And then here comes that Italian, sends it up the inside, runs me out the road. I don't think it was a bad move, but he runs me out the road, and as you see I get an SR down for that. So he run me nearly fully off the track, yet I get the SR down. Where was I supposed to go? You know, to me that's his fault. I don't think he's meant to do it. But as I said, there's the Italian that only was involved in the fight with us because of the Swiss driver not being too clever. And he's managed to pit off his hards onto mediums, and obviously now he's faster than us. So we've lost another place, all because of the time we've lost from people not driving very clever. You see here, these two guys will now go into the pit, so we're up to 4th at least. And you see, we just make a silly mistake there. I said this because I was so angry by this point. I was just trying to keep me cool as much as I could, because I was just thinking about the race before as well with the mediums. You use the mediums and then you get stuck in traffic, but you try and do the no stop on the hards and you end up getting hit by the medium runners that are faster than you near the start of the race, or from them not racing clever. So I mean, at least we got the 4th. But then again, in this race I think I lost 14 or 16 SR in that race, when you know, I personally don't think one incident, you know, you could say, okay, the couple of grazes on the wall that I had, and did I touch the back of one car maybe? But basically, 90% of the incidents there were not my fault, but the game gave them as my fault. So hopefully they sort the penalty system out for GT7. But hope you liked the video. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And if you've enjoyed, please like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.